Hi, welcome back to my video. In this video, I am going to give you a short introduction of an tools present in the Burp. So first one, the target. The target tool gives you an overview of an target website which contains folders, images and web pages. The target lets you to check each key part of your website. Moving to the sitemap, the sitemap agrees all the contents that Burp has observed in your website. Here you can see some of the websites which I have loaded. These all sites are having HTTPS, means this shows that the SSL certificate which we added, it's working. And next you can see some of the black and grey color URLs. So what are these? The URLs which have been requested are shown in black color and the URLs which have not been requested are shown in grey color. So that's a simple difference between black and grey color URLs. So moving to the scope tab, when an initial application mapping is completed, this is a good time to define your target scope. By selecting the branch within the sitemap, you can use the add scope or remove scope command for the text menu. If you feel that the application is very large and you want to speed up the mapping process, you can perform automated spidering to fill out the sitemap contents. So that's a small introduction of a target. And next, moving to the proxy tab. The proxy tab, we can say it as a heart of an Burp. It gives a direct view into how your target application works is undergoing. It operates as a web proxy server and sits a man in middle between your browser and the destination web servers. This lets you to intercept and modify the request between the client and server. So here you can see the intercept button. The intercept tab displays the individual HTTP and HTTPS request and response that have been intercepted by Burp proxy for overview and modifications. And moving to the proxy history, the Burp maintains a full history of all the requests and response that have been passed through the proxy. This enables to view the browser server convocation to understand how does the application function are carried out or tested. So that's a small introduction of an proxy tab. Moving to the spider tab. The spider is a tool used for automatically crawling websites. In some situation, running an automated spider can help you to find, registering new user accounts, generating a feedback emails, or changing other application state. Now here you can see the pause and play button. This toggle button is used to start and stop the spider. And next, clearing queue. If you want to repropertize your work, you can completely clear the current queued items so that other items can be added to the queue. Moving to the option tab, this tab contains options for basic crawling settings, passive spidering, form submission, application logo, the spider engine, and HTTP header request. First one, the crawling settings. The spider crawls for basic web contents like checks the robot.txt file. Passive spidering. The passive spidering monitors traffic through the Burp proxy to update the sitemap without making any new requests. This enables you to map out an application contents and functionalities in a very controlled way using your browser. Form submission. These settings control whether and how the spider submission to the HTML forms. Next, application logo. These settings control how the spider submits login forms. Spider engine. These settings control the engine used for making HTTP request when spidering. And at last, HTTP request header. You can configure customer list of headers to be used in the spider request. This may be helpful to meet the specific requirements of individual applications to emulate an accepted user agent when testing an application designed for mobile devices. So that's a small introduction of an spider. Moving to the scanner tab. So if you are using the free edition of Burp Suite, you will not get any usage of an scanner. So for that, here I am using the professional Burp Suite. The scanner is a tool for performing an automated scanning for finding the vulnerabilities present in the websites. You can also use the scanner for manually testing the websites and quickly identify the vulnerabilities present in it. Now moving to the Scanning Queue tab. The Scanning Queue displays the following details such as index number, reflecting the order in which the items are added, the destination protocol, hosts, URL, the current status of item, and also including the completing scanning. The scanner consists of two types of scanning. One is active scanning and another one is passive scanning. Active scanning typically involves sending a large number of requests to the server for each base request that is scanned, and that can be a time-consuming process. Next, passive scanning. The Burp scanner operates in a purely passive mode. Here the scanner doesn't send any request of its own. It merely analyzes the content of existing requests and response and deduces vulnerabilities of the website. So that's a small introduction of a scanner. And next, moving to the Intruder tab. The Burp Intruder is a tool for automating customizing attacks against a website. It is extremely powerful and configurable and can be used to perform a huge range of tasks. An intruder tool can perform from a simple brute forcing to active exploits of complex blind SQL vulnerabilities. The intruder works by taking an HTTP request and modifying the request in a very systematic ways. For each attack, you must specify one or more sets of payload, the position in the base request where the payloads are to be placed. The intruder consists of numerous methods of generating payloads like simple lists of strings, numbers, dates, brute forcing, bit flipping, and many others. These payloads can be placed into the payload position using a different algorithms. So that's a small introduction of an intruder. Moving to the Repeater tab. The Repeater tool used for manually manipulating and reissuing the individual HTTP request and analyzing the website responses. You can use the Repeater tab for all kinds of purposes such as changing the parameter values, testing for input-based vulnerabilities, issuing the request in a specific sequence to test for all login flaws, and reissuing the request from Burp scanner. The most important part of Repeater tab is it lets you to work on multiple different requests simultaneously in its own tab. When you send a request to a repeater, each request is opened in the new tab. Each Repeater tab maintains its own history of the requests that have been made within it. So that's a small introduction of a repeater. Now moving to the Sequencer tab. The Burp Sequencer is a tool for analyzing the quality of randomness in a sample of data items. You can use it for testing an application's session token or any other important data item that are intended to be unpredictable, such as anti-CSRF token, password reset tokens. So that's a very small introduction of a sequencer. If I keep on explaining about the sequencer, there is a lot of things to be learned. I have given an example over a sequencer where you can easily understand what is sequencer and how does it works. Moving to the comparer. The Burp comparer is a simple tool for performing a comparison between any two items of data. Here are some common usage of a Burp comparer. First one, when you're looking for a username enumeration conditions, you can compare a response to failed login using a valid or invalid username. Second one is, when you do brute forcing using an intruder, you may get the response with a different lengths that have been based on the response. You can compare those requests to quickly where the difference lies. And the third one, when you're comparing the sitemap or a proxy history by entering the generating different types of users, you can compare the similar request to see where the difference lies that give rise of a different application's behavior. Fourth one is, when you are testing for blind SQL injection using the Boolean condition injection and other similar tests, we can compare two responses to see whether injection difference conditions has requested a relevant difference in response. So that's a small introduction of a comparer. So that's a short introduction of all the tools. If I keep on explaining about each tool present in the Burp, it will take a lot of times to go through it. As we are going through the examples, we'll come to know which tool is used for what. By using these tools, we are going to have some fun and find the vulnerabilities present in websites and get some bounties. So that's all this video. Thank you.